Make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, good evening, Sigma Race fans. Come at you live here tonight from Homestead, Miami for the USA Trucks East Division and the Beach Boom 157. And on the front row, you got the Trevor Ventures teammates of Alan Malcolm and Alex Sanvitale. They have been on one hell of a tear as of late. Behind that, you've got the 50 of Tim Kourting and the 18 of Chaz Chadwick. The 3 of Ralph Oberstadt starting in the top 5 here, followed by the 14 of Borat. And I'm probably going to butcher that name. I hope not to. Sagdiev? Sajdiev? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. All right, just for short, it's Borat in the number 14 car there. And then we've got David Bird and Ryan White, Cannon Gage and James Gunner. Sebastian Galloway Jr. making his series debut alongside Chris Jaramillo, who now takes over in the 13 truck that was last run by Ant Meperson. It's a great truck, and we've already seen him win in ARCA, so maybe getting his feet wet in ARCA and running strong here too. Gannon Bird, Brandon Butler, Chelsea Carter, Ace Vaden, and the rest of the field as we skim through here. It's the day after this guy's birthday right here. Bradley Ream starting mid-pack. Al Bunch deep in the field, as well as Chase Kovacic, Wyatt Wilkinson, Kyle Ottawa. And at the very back, you've got Nate Newman and Ryan Little. So, grand total of 105 laps here tonight. Should be a quick race. Oh, we've got some mechanical troubles already. No way, the 95 who had a mechanical failure in his ARCA debut is already off to a rough start with a flat tire here tonight. That has slowed up the pace of the restart here just a little bit. Talk about bad luck. I don't know how else to sum that up there. So the 59, or rather the 95 starts on pit road while the green flag waves. Off to the early lead, you've got Alan Malcolm over Alex Sanvitale, but here comes Tim Kourting on an early push for second. As they drive down the backstretch, Tim Kourting giving that Chevy some clean air. We finally saw the second win for Chevy here in the USA Trucks with Billy Lovejoy at Sonoma just a couple weeks ago. So perhaps Chevy's starting to get their bearings straight. '95 is going to go a couple laps down, it looks like, getting that tire situation figured out. I imagine they're probably holding him for a lap for safety protocol. There you go. He's getting the tires changed now. You know, if he gets a caution, he get the wave around, get back on the lead lap here tonight. Only looks like 2 laps down now. And he's leaving pit road, so having to fight off his back here tonight. Sebastian Galloway Jr. still able to run the race here. We'll see what he can get done. These truck races usually see a wreck or two, so he'll be keeping his fingers crossed that that happens here tonight at Homestead. Just like that, 3, almost 4 wide on a few spots throughout the track here. Wyatt Wilkinson in the middle with Bradley Ream at the bottom. Those are 2 teammate trucks trying not to get wrecked here. 14 of Borat up on the high side. And then Chris Jaramillo in his USA Trucks debut already starting to move up to the front, running top 15 at the moment. Alan Malcolm leads, but it looks like Tim Kourting may be knocking on the door here. The KBM trucks are moving to the front as you've got Tim Kourting, Cannon Gage, and Chelsea Carter all within line of each other. You see that blue 43 just a few spots back from the purple number 5. KBM had a stellar performance last night in the Cup race with a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th finish. I think that's probably the first time they've ever accomplished that in the Cup Series, so that is a tremendous feat. The next best thing would be a 1, 2, 3, 4 for the team. And with the trucks, they only have 3 trucks on the east and 3 on the west, so they're only guaranteed a 1, 2, 3 at the best if they could pull it off here. Definitely setting the stage for what could be a great night for KBM. Chaz Chadwick goes 3 wide at the bottom there of David Bird. This is definitely a much refined David Bird that we've seen this year in 2025. That 96 truck looks stout after losing their sponsorship and simply kind of stepping back to a team-sponsored truck. David Bird has been putting together some consistent runs. They're starting to catch up to Sebastian Galloway here. Alan Malcolm's been hard to pass here as he's held the lead for quite a while. Tim Kourting knocking on the door, though, waiting for the opportunity to pounce in the number 50 truck. One thing that has carried over from last year is the dominance of the Trevor Ventures team. They have been hard to beat week in, week out. It's almost gotten to the point where it's almost guaranteed that they are running 1-2 at some point in almost every race that they contest. But the competition is stout, and you got to almost guarantee that, you know, once in a while, there's going to be a break in the trend. You can see the 9 truck leading and the 10 truck just in 4th, but, you know, it's why we run the races. Sometimes you've got things that upset the apple cart. And just like that, look at Cannon Gage making the move on the inside of his boss in the number 50. This is going to give Chaz Chadwick an opportunity to make a move as well as the draft starts to close up in that group of 4. Got quite a few Chevys running in amongst the top 10 there, as another Chevy entry with a different Chevy team, the 3 of Ralph Oberstadt for Calvin Steele Racing, and the 96 of David Bird with Jesse Saturn Racing. So Chevys on point here tonight with 3 different teams represented in the top 10. As I mentioned earlier, Bradley Ream, it was his birthday yesterday, so he's hunting and fishing for a great race here tonight. Cannon Gage settles into 3rd, and it looks like Tim Kourting on the move to try and take the lead away. Ooh, here comes Al Bunch, kind of from nowhere. Didn't really see him coming up through the field. Now he's up in the top 10, fighting for position. Still no caution through 16 laps here at Homestead Miami. The racing is getting pretty tight and exciting at the front of the field, as we've got a few drivers it looks like capable of duking it out for the win here. Tim's making another push. Looks like he's going to have the draft in his favor here as he goes down the backstretch. He's right there on the back bumper of the 9, and he's going to pull out. Getting side by side now. This should help bring the others closer to the front as Tim Kourting looks to take the lead away. Tim Kourting leads lap number 17 there. And that's going to give his teammate an opening to try and get inside of the 9 as well. 5 of Cannon Gage right there on the back bumper of the 9. You see Chelsea Carter in the background too, trying to make it 3 wide with Al Bunch and Alex Sanvitale. Nonetheless, it is Tim Kourting leading the way now. as he nabs it from Alan Malcolm. And here we have Sebastian Galloway Jr., couple laps down due to the flat tire at the start of the race. He's still out there fighting for position. He can try to better his day with a little bit of luck and maybe a caution. This is kind of the unknown that we have been missing this season with Tim Kourting and Chadwick. It's been the Trevor Ventures show on both the East and West Coast so far. But the veterans who have been at it since 2022, the start of the USA Trucks, it's been kind of weird not seeing Tim Kourting, Chadwick duke it out for wins. The prime veterans of this USA Truck Series. And here we have Tim Kourting showing his muscle early in this one. Chadwick not too far back in the picture either. So hopefully maybe a resurgence for some of our veterans. We did lose another veteran to the Cup Series just last week as Ant Me Person decided to step down from full-time truck competition to focus his endeavors on Cup. And that's what opened the door for Chris Jaramillo here in the number 13 Dodge Ram. And Jaramillo doing just as well as what Ant Me Person would be doing if it were him racing tonight. Now, Alan Malcolm and Alex Sanvitale both get by Tim Kourting. And now the KBM trio running 2, 3, and... or rather 3, 4, and 5 as the lap concluded there. Ooh, and Alex Sanvitale wants to take the lead away from his teammate as he goes low there on the number 9. The 10 trying to haul the mail. We have not seen the 10 truck yet to victory lane in the USA Trucks. Actually, let me confirm or deny that statement because it might have been the 10 truck that got a win already. Yes, Alex Sanvitale got one win this season, and that was at Dover, the third race on the schedule, so just a couple races ago. And hunting now for what could be their second win tonight at Homestead. Two completely different tracks, though, as you look at Dover, the last track that he won on. This 1.5-mile track, it's got a lot of character, a lot of alternate grooves that these trucks will run. You'll see some people with the outside advantage, some with the inside advantage. It really comes down to how well they've set their trucks up for the night. And one thing reigns true, it seems. Tim Kourting keeps finding his way back up to the front. And when he gets shuffled out, he's now fighting to get the lead back from the number 10 truck. Chelsea Carter has made some very admirable moves there. She's up to 4th. Just as we've got some new trucks on the East Coast here tonight, the next race, which you'll see tomorrow, you'll see a lot of new faces on the West Coast as well. Well, maybe not quite new faces, but just a change of ownership for a few trucks. And a few newcomers, I want to say, have landed on the west side. So definitely been a long break for these trucks. A lot of these drivers kind of signed up in the meantime, waiting for their first start with the mild delay on the schedule. And so now they're getting their chance to truly shine and run with the big dogs. Well, we're 29 laps into this and still no caution yet. 76 laps to go. And the lead swapped hands quite a few times already. We've seen Alan Malcolm up front. We've seen Tim Kourting. And as it is right now, Alex Sanvitale at the point. Chelsea Carter kind of testing the waters there on the number 9 truck. Well, folks, we're going to take a quick step aside here. You won't miss any of the racing action as we go Sigma side by side. Well, now they have caught some more lap traffic here as they get by the 54 of Johnny Blaney. This seems to have hurt the 9 truck of Alan Malcolm as KBM is now running 2, 3, and 4. And Chadwick up to 5th. Things are starting to look different at the front of this field. well, Chelsea Carter up to second as Tim Kourting struggling a little bit here. Can't engage now under attack from David Bird. You got Chris Jeremio cracking up into the top 10. A lot of comers and goers, it seems like. Alan Malcolm struggling a little bit here as he's dropped the furthest back he's been all night. Ooh, David Bird washes out there, almost forcing it 3 wide with Chaz Chadwick at the bottom there. KBM 2, 3, and 4. What a crazy week it could be for KBM if they keep putting together stellar performances all week long. It's a long week of racing. They've got cars and trucks in every single event running this week, Monday through Friday. So gonna be a long week, or it may be a quick week. You never know what way you look at it here, as they keep knocking down good finishes. The laps are clicking away pretty quickly here as we're slowly approaching halfway in the 105 laps run here tonight. Holding the lead pretty steadily right now, it is Alex Sanvitale. Chelsea Carter keeping it close in second. Can engage in third. And the rest of the positions keep shuffling around here as now you got Alan Malcolm looking to take 3 wide for second place. David Bird's going to see that opening and take an advantage to make the pass as well. KBM getting freight train there on the inside as both Can Engage and Chelsea Carter have nowhere to settle in. Alan Malcolm up to second and David Bird in third. The three at the front starting to break away here as the lap truck of Craig Popkris holding up the pace pretty significantly. They're packed in 3 by 3 by 3 like sardines in a can. This could be a wreck waiting to happen. They better be careful and not make a mistake. You got 3 wide. You got nearly 4 wide. And lap trucks mixed in all throughout the big pack there. All in the meanwhile, David Bird settled in with the Trevor Ventures teammates at the front of the field. There's a lot of separation now throughout the field. You can't even see the secondary pack after that big group behind these top 3. This might be where the tires start to wear out, and a lot of these trucks are going to start dropping and potentially being a hazard for your leaders. So I think it's Borat Sagdiev. Sadiev? Sadiev? I'm going to have to go to school on pronunciations here. Borat in his series debut running pretty solidly up in the top 15. Okay, I feel confident in pronouncing the name now. It is Borat Sagdiev. Had to look it up and listen to a pronunciation on it so I could school myself. I know amateur hour here tonight on the USA Trucks East as I needed to do my homework live on the stream here. But in the meanwhile, it looks like we've got a swap going for the lead as Alan Malcolm and Alex Sanvitale side by side. This might draw in David Bird. Alan Malcolm gets the lead from his teammate there. And we are already past halfway as there's 49 laps to go. Still no caution here tonight. Definitely a couple drivers out there desperately hoping that the caution might fall and save them from their lap that they've lost. Sigma officials are going to keep a very watchful eye on oil down. If we have a blown truck, that we would throw the caution for that as well. But so far, no mechanical failures other than the flat tire from the 95 earlier in the race here. And Sebastian Galloway Jr. a couple laps down. 3 laps down, but if a caution fell, he could get those 3 laps back lickety split. So your top of the field as they run, you got Alan Malcolm leading over Alex Sanvitale, David Bird, and Tim Kourting. Tim Kourting making the move for third, though, as we speak. As you fall in line behind the top four, you do have Cannon Gage in fifth, Al Bunch sixth, James Gunner seventh, and Gannon Bird eighth, followed by Ralph Oberstadt and Chelsea Carter. And then you have Borat Sagdiev running in 11th. Chris Jeremio, also a newcomer here. Chaz Chadwick in 13th. And then a three-wide battle for 14th, as it looks like Wyatt Wilkinson holds it at the moment. The way things are going, we're going to have at least one round of pit stops, whether that be under green or under a caution. They will have to have at least one pit stop here tonight to make it to the finish. Your leaders, they're duking it out here as Alex Sanvitale wants to take the lead back from Alan Malcolm. This is a friendly rivalry between teammates as they've been duking it out all night long. Whether it's been Alan Malcolm or Alex Sanvitale, roughly 90% of the laps led here tonight have been Trevor Ventures, number 9, and number 10. Tim Kourting did lead for a little while. But these two TV trucks are just too tough to tame. As we are playing catch-up this week, it is kind of a revised schedule as to what we originally had. The races that we're seeing now are catch-up from the last week that I was unable and not free to really get the streams rolling. And so we'll be caught back up by the end of this week, and we'll be back to our normal process for schedule. With the trucks on Tuesday, with the Bridge to Cup live stream, and then our Thursday ARCA and Cup, the way we've got it going. Recording for the trucks is on Monday, and recording for ARCA is on Wednesdays, so that I can get everything kind of streamlined and give the East Coast a little bit more opportunity to catch the races that they want to tune in to watch, as ARCA and trucks will be broadcast at noon Pacific Standard Time. Maybe earlier, but not likely any later than noon Pacific Standard Time, which is also 3 Eastern. There we go. First round of takers coming down pit road as you've got Tim Kourting and James Gunner. They're going to be on the undercut strategy as they're coming in first. That means they'll be able to get fresh tires and get the advantage of those fresh tires before the leaders do, giving them what would usually be an advantage to try and close the gap to the lead. Now it's all going to come down to when these leaders decide to pit, and it only took one lap for them to decide on that, as you've got, looks like Borat and Al staying out with a few others, but as we see here, Alex Sanvitale, Alan Malcolm, David Bird, Cannon Gage, and Gannon Bird all coming down pit road just a lap after we saw Tim Kourting. Everyone's keeping it clean so far. Still have not seen any caution, as this race has been clean And it's been flying by quickly for everyone involved. Here we go on the exit of pit road. This is going to be a fight for who has the lead. Tim Kourting gets the advantage, it looks like, and he's going to get by the 96. He's right there knocking on the door of the 10. With those fresh tires, he's going to blow by the 10 truck here. Oh, and we've got a caution. No! That was Tim Kourting, who is fighting for potentially second. And Alex Sanvitale, who would have been your leader. They couldn't avoid the wreck there, and that's going to bring out the first caution of the night. Wow. What an unfortunate turn of events here for our leaders. Ace Vaden on the entrance to pit road gets tangled up with a few other drivers there, also coming to pit road. It was a strange pit entry for most of those drivers who didn't seem to know what they were doing. But sitting on the apron right in the racing line, the one truck not getting out of the way in time takes out your two leading drivers. Holy cow. Yeah, just a glancing blow on the 10 and a head-on blow for the 50. They probably figured that he was going to get out of the way as you watch them there on the racing line committed. Wow. I've never seen something this tragic in a USA Trucks race. Going from the top two trucks to now knocked out of the race. That is a heartbreak and a half there, folks. If any of you are just tuning in, you might want to rewind just a few moments back to watch the wreck that took out our top two drivers. That's got to be the worst way to go out when you're trying to get back through the field and fight for the lead, and you're shuffled back in from the pit strategy to what would have been the lead and get knocked out from a wreck not of your doing. Tim Kourting and Alex Sanvitale both had led a bunch of laps here today, and they ended up knocked out of the race right after the first round of pit stops there. As is customary in USA Trucks, wave arounds reign supreme, and we are giving everyone their laps back. The way that the caution fell actually puts the 43 on the lap all of their own, so we're going to have to wave around the entire field here. Well, folks, if you're tuned in, you're going to get to see a wild finish here. It looks like the 10 truck's still going to continue on. Must have been minor damage as they're going to get the wave around and back on the lead lap again. And so next lap, the lights should go off on the pace truck, and we should be reset here for the race. Chelsea Carter will lead them to the restart after the topsy-turvy green flag pit stops put a wild spin on this race. Quite literally, a spin took out two of our top contenders as the number one of Ace Vaden got spun out as they were trying to enter pit road, and our two leaders were just racing, minding their own business, committed to the line that they were on and made contact with the stalled truck on the apron. If you look at the Sigma side by side, oh, we can't look down any further. They would have been your pretty much top 2 lap leading trucks out there, the 10 and the 50, and they're already knocked out of the race, not of their doing. So, you know, sometimes you got the bad luck streak, and a few drivers definitely got hit hard here tonight with some bad luck. So lights are off on the pace truck. We're going to get back going for green flag on lap 79. Chelsea Carter, Al Bunch, Chris Jeremio, and Borat Sagdiev. David Bird, James Gunner, Cannon Gage, Gannon Bird, Alan Malcolm, and Chaz Chadwick, your top 10. Chase Kovacic up to 12th there, as well as Eli the Wolf. Your fastest lap in the race so far belongs to him, as he's up to 13th. Bradley Ream, top 15. Everyone's back on the lead lap now. Fair shot to try and gain some spots for everyone that did get trapped a lap down early here, especially Sebastian, who had a flat tire right out of the gate. They're doubled up for the restart with 25 laps to go. Is it going to be Chelsea Carter or Al Bunch that gets the jump here? And what about Chris Jeremio right there behind both of them? Borat in the number 14. He's got a little bit of speed to fight for the win here. Wow, look at Chris Jeremio right out of the restart on the back bumper of that 43 truck, looking for the lead. David Bird going low, though. He's going to make it interesting here going into turn 3. Cannon Gage giving David Bird one hell of a push here, as David Bird's going to try to take the lead on the front stretch. We haven't really seen that pan out here today yet, as they are 3 wide for the position there. Third on back, looking to try and get some spots before it gets hard to get. David Bird's going to have to block both lines of traffic now and look to the front on the 43 truck. The 9 of Alan Malcolm pushes on the inside there with good bump draft from Al Bunch, as they're now going to make it 3 wide for second again. Not quite. It pans out, settles down 2 wide, and now single file for the top 2 spots. But they cannot get settled for third on back. It seems like they are fighting so hard for that third position, just for a shot to get up to the lead here. Now you got to wonder if cautions breed cautions, as we normally see in a lot of racing, no matter what series, what type of racing it is. One caution can always breed another. Here we go, Alan Malcolm making it a move for the lead now. Chelsea Carter held on for a little while. It looks like she's going to settle back into second. Maybe third, as David Bird's right there. And Borat Sagdiev up to fourth, fighting for third, maybe second. The good run on the inside. Wyatt Wilkinson cracking into the picture for the first time here tonight. He's going nearly 3 wide. He settles back in behind the 3 there of Oberstadt. David Bird, sole possession now of second place, as Chelsea Carter struggling to find the momentum on the outside. David Bird the 96 Jesse Saturn Racing Chevrolet And Sagdiev in the Volkswagen, so that's kind of an interesting manufacturer trio there. You've got Toyota, Chevy, and Volkswagen 1, 2, and 3. Malcolm, didn't take him long to get back to the front here, and he's trying to assert his dominance once again. As we're going to be down to about 19 laps to go, it's going to come down to who's got a little bit of magic here at the end. Wow, the lap traffic there, the 10 of Alex Sanvitale, just a rolling roadblock, causing a big congestion throughout the field there, almost bad enough to hold up your leaders. Sigma officials are going to wait till everyone gets around the 10, and they're going to have to DQ for not meeting minimum race pace here. It's a bummer, but the 10 truck simply not having the speed to run with them is going to be detrimental to the finish of this race. So that gave Sagdiev a bit of a reprieve as he's now trying to close back up on the 9 truck. Chelsea Carter in third, and now Wyatt Wilkinson up to fourth, fighting for fourth and fifth. And it's looking like possibly about a 3-truck fight at the moment. But I still wouldn't count out the 4th place runner of Ralph Oberstadt or even the 5th place runner of Ryan White. Chelsea Carter trying to get around Borat here for second. As we're down to 15 laps to go, the laps are running away here. And Alan Malcolm has been doing a stellar job here tonight, keeping that lead as much as he can. Chelsea wants to get second, but didn't have the momentum to get alongside the 14 there. She's going to have to settle in and recoup for another run. There we got Chelsea Carter on the inside of Borat for second. And the rest of the field starting to close back up again here as Ryan White and Ralph Oberstadt cracking into the picture. Ralph looking for third here with a lot of a late race push out of that 3 truck, looking stout. He's closed the gap up on Chelsea Carter. Does anyone have anything for Alan Malcolm, though? No matter how much the positions change for second, third, and fourth, fifth, the leader is continuing to stay right there at the front of the field. Mad kudos to Sebastian Galloway Jr., who's climbed halfway through the field now up to 23rd. Ryan White up to 4th now as Borat on the backwards fall. Yeah, if you look back here, the 95 is slicing and dicing for position up amongst the top 25. He could get up into the top 20 and possibly even the top 15 with a little bit of perseverance there. And there's no telling if we might get yet another caution before the end of this one that could really stack things back up and get interesting. We're going to go ahead and add laps in case we need it for green-white checkers. Not necessarily a guarantee, but if need be, we will have green-white checkers enabled here. This race is going to go down to the wire with just 10 laps to go. Alan Malcolm doing what he must to keep it, but the Chevys behind him looking to maybe team up and usurp the Toyota dominance that we've seen here today. You need to work together, though, if you want to get the win, and I think Ralph Oberstadt getting a little greedy here as he wants to try and get around the 43. The best way for both of them to win is if he works together with the 43 and tries to push them wherever they need to go. Borat Sagdiev losing some more spots as it looks like he's dropping backwards, possibly used up his stuff. And now Ralph Oberstadt making the move on Chelsea Carter for second. As they get side by side, this is going to help Alan Malcolm drive away from them. The longer they race for that position, the harder it's going to be for them to get the win. But maybe Ralph Oberstadt has something up his sleeve here. Wow, they're going to make it nearly 3 wide. Not quite, but it looked like it could have went that way as Ryan White and Gannon Bird trying to creep up into the picture here. Now you've got a pair of Dodges fighting in the top 5, top 10 area as you've got Gannon Bird and Wyatt Wilkinson closing in on the front of the field. And then Chelsea Carter's going to try to pass over on the 3 again. Those two continue to duke it out. That's only given Alan Malcolm a nice, comfortable cushion at the front of the field. And Chevy is pretty much going to be their own downfall here as they didn't cooperate very well in the closing laps to try and steal the win from the number 9. Still a little bit of hope. Maybe Chelsea Carter's got a better partner with the 70 of Ryan White. We'll have to wait and see. And the 70 looks like he wants to get by Chelsea Carter too. So the infighting with the Chevy team, the teams of Chevy are going to be going back to the drawing board here tonight to figure out why they can't cooperate together better. Those are 3 different teams amongst the 3 Chevys, second, third, and fourth. So definitely no teammate friendlies there. They're all team rival, well, manufacturer rivals, manufacturer teammates, I guess you could say too. And Chelsea Carter back up to second. She's got another shot here. She was leading on the restart but got blown by the number 9 of Alan Malcolm before long. As they're down to just 2 laps to go this next time by, some of these drivers are going to need a caution to get back into this. Alan Malcolm just hoping desperately it stays green all the way to the finish here. The lap times, Chelsea Carter was faster that time. All 3 Chevys were faster that time than Alan Malcolm. So now is where they really need to cooperate. Don't try to pass each other. Simply fall in line and try to help Chevy get the win here tonight. And then once you get past the number 9, have at it. Try to go for the win yourself, but you aren't going to win making a pass for second, third, or fourth. You got to try to make that move at the lead count first. Lap 104 of 105. Lap times kind of plateaued there as Alan Malcolm didn't lose much time to the 43. It's going to stay green. There's no wrecks, no caution to come. So we're looking at potentially your winner going to come out of these top three here. White flag waving. One more lap to go here from Homestead. Alan Malcolm just safetied up there for a little while, and I think he's kicking it into overdrive. And it's been an all too common trend this season watching Alan Malcolm out front, leading laps, stealing wins, dominating like this. And here he's going to try to get his third win on the season. Rolling off turn 4 down the front stretch. Alan Malcolm collects the checkered flag here tonight. Chelsea Carter coming home second. Ryan White in third. Ralph Oberstadt. Borat Sagdiev coming in top 5 in his series debut. Chris Jeremio, Gannon Bird, Andrew Moger, Wyatt Wilkinson, and Jeffrey Gerald. Then you had Cannon Gage, David Bird, Al Bunch, James Gunner, and Mitchell Carter rounding out your top 15. And that, folks, is a wrap here from Homestead Miami. One caution in the race. Grand total race distance at 1 hour and 4 minutes. Fastest lap went to Eli the Wolf at a 29.829 around Homestead here today. Heartbreak for the 50 of Tim Kourting, who I think he even stated that this is going to be the hardest one to get the win in, and where he's already won in Cup, he's already won in Bridge to Cup. Trucks just feels like that one that's going to be hard for him to get to victory lane this year for the true sweep of things. So, yeah, heartbreak yet again. We've seen that happen to Tim Kourting a couple times this season in the trucks in particular. And dead last, 39th here tonight from Homestead is going to hurt hard. Alan Malcolm's going to continue to grow his points lead at the front of the field with another win here tonight, as things are only going to get drug out a little further for the Trevor Ventures teammates. Alex Sanvitale, though, he's going to take a big hit in the points after having a DQ there and getting caught up in that wreck just a little while into the race there. So congratulations yet again to Alan Malcolm on getting the job done here tonight. Homestead definitely impresses every time we come here to run it. And tonight was no different, as we saw quite a bit of passing, quite a few lead changes, and ultimately dominance reigned supreme. Just like a Kyle Larson race, sometimes you just can't beat the guy that's got the best speed, the best racecraft, and that was Alan Malcolm here tonight getting the job done. So, welcome aboard all the newcomers, such as Chris Jeremio, Borat Sagdiev, and Sebastian Galloway Jr. May not have been the best of first races for some of y'all, but at least you got your feet in the water. And even congratulations to Sebastian there for a comeback at the end to get a top. I think it was like about a top 20. So with that, folks, this is a wrap here for tonight. We do have the USA Trucks West for tomorrow, and then Bridge to Cup action coming at you Thursday and Friday. And then we'll have a brief break Saturday. ARCA comes back on Sunday. You won't want to miss that, as we've got a bunch of newcomers filing into the ARCA series. It's the most newcomers we've had in the ARCA series since the season was first created back in 2024. So hopefully y'all have a great night out there. Stay safe, and until next time.